Alright, Dynastics is here. Looking at a full grid.
Well, that's good news, everybody, and welcome to One Hub Racing's Podium tier live on Twitch. Very, very pleased to be here with you all. My name is Webbo, and unfortunately, as you may have caught on socials this week, unfortunately, our esteemed Evil has got himself a massive promotion, and he's now off to Pinnacle. So you will have me and a guest if I can arrange them to join at some stage. But Team Weevil is no more, and it's just me right now, your commentator Webbo. But that doesn't mean that that we necessarily all need to exodus. I'll do my best for everybody. It is the third round of our championship, and we're off to the Hungary ring in Hungary, of course. Of particular note, this race will be that we've got a previous winner of the Hungarian Grand Prix racing in Podium tonight, Cam. So Cam came on, as they will appear on your game screen. Cam has won before, so we'll be looking at him as a hot favourite, and I'm sure he'll appreciate me calling that one out straight away. Then just to talk you through the current situation in terms of championship, we have Cam himself is leading the championship on 30 points, with Dax in second. Dax being our hot driver as well on current form, and then Thomas is level second place with Dax on 20 points. We have Tech 31 who's on 18 points. Apex Rogue on 17 and Rich 500 on 16, so it's really tight, but obviously we're only 3 races in, so what else would you expect at this stage? Tech 31, Apex Rogue, Rich 500, Speed Red Matt, Kies, Konghofner, Okeki, Delta and Salty Bear are your race premium drivers, and they support the One Hub Championship and Discord, as you will be aware, and what we do is made possible by them, and we're also a good moment there just to thank our sponsors, who are the ERT Racing Team, Next Level Racing, 3M Sim Racing, and Vespertine, who provide our apparel and merchandise services. So, the Hungary ring. I hope you're all looking forward to this one. I know I am. If you are joining us on the stream on Twitch, we're very pleased to make our season debut on Twitch tonight for the Podium tier. Say hello. Tell us who you're here to support if you are. Tell us who your favourites are for the race. KPP's already wishing everybody good luck, which is great to see. So fantastic stuff. We will be making best use possible of the TAS telemetry wherever we can, but as you will appreciate, I've got a lot of screens to watch and just one person to do it. So, like I say, trying our best, but bear with us. If you spot something on screen and you think it's important to take a look at, give a shout. There's only one pair of eyes right now. So we had the media day this week, and Cam has a slightly dismal view on things. He said that we'll probably crash trying to overtake tonight, he said he's looking at Kian and Tech as the biggest rivals for this race tonight. And we've also then heard from Kies, who agreed that this is going to be a chaos kind of a chaotic race, and that he highlighted Tech as his potential biggest rival tonight. So we are almost underway. You can see the timer on the screen, and we'll walk you through everything. I think, did I mention that Okeki is the cold driver currently on form? And so we'll be looking to see if Okeki can reverse that trend and get himself out there and with a better performance. So it looks to be bright. I haven't heard anything from our drivers yet tonight as to whether it's going to be anything other than dry and bright, and as you'd expect. Usually pretty warm and hot surroundings for the Hungaroring. Good news is I've got, I think, my telemetry screen has come up, which is awesome. So I'll be able to try and make use of that. 16% chance of rain in the race. Brilliant. Thanks for that, KPP. That's brilliant. Brilliant info, and you heard it live as I heard it, so that's fantastic. Cars making unsafe releases left, right, and centre, as we've come to expect from the game. But out there already, you've got Dynastics is out there. I think we've got both AlphaTauris have managed to make it out already. Speed Red Map behind his teammate, and it's Salty Bear in the Mercedes who's got out there. And we'll try and get ourselves out there and have a look at the first driver who made it out, which was Vittino. So Vittino just getting the tyres warmed up. A short lap around the Hungaroring, just 14 corners. Some of them are fiendishly difficult. Some are less so, as you'd expect. Slightly tricky setup. There are a couple of high-speed corners that will belie, and of course that main start-finish straight that belie the general characteristic of the track, which is for a high downforce setup. Vittino is out there on soft tyres, Dynastics Red Mat on medium. So let's ride with Vittino and see how he tackles this this fresh track but a classic on the calendar now. I think it's safe to call this track a classic. And getting the car down third gear into the apex for turn 1, which is looking good. Hugging that inside line for best possible positioning through 2. Fourth gear doesn't trouble the apex but keeps the minimum speed pretty high. And out there through turn 3. Turn 4 is the blind entry over the crest, and just a small hesitation down to just 5th gear into turn 5. And then the tight chicane, where you've got to be respectful of those curbs and not tackle those heavy entries too much. Vittino then now through the high-speed section, which causes an invalidation this early stage, unfortunately. Just rode that exit curb of turn 11 just that little bit too much, and we'll have to run around and try again. I don't know if he will try and double stack because it's a short lap. No, he's going to go in the pits. He scrubbed those tyres. He's not happy. Not a happy driver at all. Let's go on to Dynastics then and see if he can tackle this with any better. No, the exact same error. Astonishing to see them both make the same error at the same point on the track. I wonder how many times we'll see that. Red Mat has managed to keep himself going, and Red Mat then sprints for the line. To set our first time lap, hopefully, at 1:16.2 on medium tyres, and has purpled nearly the entire sector of the lap. So fantastic stuff from him on medium tyres. Who else is out there on a lap right now? I think Apex Rogue just goes in pole position just as we join him, 1:16.2, but on soft tyres. So Speed Red Mat's time significantly better there than the one of Red Mat's. Significantly better than Rogue's, bearing in mind the tyre delta. And Kavudi goes 1:16.231, so the times are very tight at the front. Nice lap from Kavudi. Of course, Dynastics is on his way into the pits. Salty Bear, after an early invalidation, we see Cam 1:16.5, so quite a bit slower on soft tyres, and Kian has gone a 17.385, and if you're counting, yes, there are a lot of gamer tags beginning with the letter K. So Salty Bear P5 a 1:16.529. Nice work. Keys is still in the garage, and then Dax out there in the Haas. We've seen Dax putting in some good times this season. We'll ride with him on the way through. Nice early sector from Dax. Just checking out how his performance is going so far. 27.04 shows one of the top times, just a tenth slower than the fastest possible yet in sector 1. Dax keeping it on the island so far, and I fancy this one's going to do well. A big oversteer moment, and he's not happy. Immediately made the decision to jump into the pits, and Dax, just that little oversteer moment on the way out of the penultimate corner, turn 13, and he made a very quick and decisive swing into the pits, as you'd well expect. So we've got Vittino on a lap. He's going to hope not to invalidate this time, and purple's that first sector again. Vittino out there on mediums. He's got just over the 2 laps required of fuel, so just over the minimum, and is deploying away with his ERS, as you'd well expect. Seems to have, I'm reading Vittino, yeah, spending away through the lap, a purple middle. That's purple for him, but actually only a personal best at this stage. And he swings into the penultimate corner. Can he get it out a little bit safer than the previous lap we saw? Yes. Just that patient wait to put the foot down on the way out of turn 14. And a 16.0. Vittino straight onto pole position provisionally, with fastest first sector and personal best on the second 2 sectors. So there's still room for improvement. There's an optimal lap out there for somebody, and we'll try and find that driver for you, a good driver to watch. What about Tech 31? He is closing out the lap now on medium tyres. Should have plenty of life left in these mediums. It's the softs that will degrade quickly, of course, through the single hot lap. And DRS open, and away we go. Tech 31s, I'm sure, will be disappointed with that lap of 16.6 on mediums, but it is the fastest medium time that we've seen, so maybe not too many complaints at the moment. And we've got NLR Harley out there. He's got some traffic ahead of him, just getting the car tucked in to the corner of 5, and then that tricky slow chicane of 6-7. Now the fast section, he's going to really hate to see Apex Rogue out there in the fast section going slowly and building his lap. Oh, and there, a slight distraction was all it took just to unsettle Harley, unfortunately. So we'll have to go around again, Harley, and try and stay within the bounds of turn 11's exit curve, because that really is killing people tonight. Let's watch with Keys as he gets a purple first sector for himself, but this is a medium tyre run, and obviously spending away on his ERS. Let me see. A late downshift for Keys through the quick stuff. Stays within that crucial curb and waits for his braking point into 12. Almost a right angle street circuit type corner, turn 12, very short, followed by 2 very long apex corners, 13 and 14. Beautifully on the racing line, DRS early open, and a 17.354, only good enough for 10th so far, and that will drop him down, I'm sure, down beyond the top 10. The medium tyre is really only useful to anybody if you can get a time in above the top 10 cutoff. Otherwise, you might as well have been running around on softs anyway. We'll stay with Dynastics down though now in the Red Bull. Looking good. got a yellow in sector 1, but we tend to ignore the yellow sector flags as Rich gets her fastest lap time of 15.639 early on, and Harley's gone in a little bit faster as well on soft tyres of 15.770. So with about half of qualifying done, it's now Dax. I was just going to say it's Rich. It's Dax on a 15.596 from Rich. Then Harley, Rogue, Kavudi's just gone into P2. The track really rubbering in and speeding up now, getting to close to optimal circumstances for the drivers. Dynastics, we rode virtually his whole pole lap, and I'm very glad we did, because there it is, a 15.435. Provisional pole for Dynastics with Petra Dax, Kavudi, Rich, Harley, Rogue, Vittino, Konghofner, Speed Red Matt and Salty Bear, your top 10 as things stand. Harley's out there trying to go even faster, of course. Sometimes not appearing on my telemetry, excuse me. There's a problem with Harley's name coming in. I think he's written as a player, so we'll get there. We'll try and remember that. I think, is that ERT Thomas on a lap? We'll go and have a look. Is he just closing a lap out for us? I think he is. And we'll crosses the line with a pole position time of a 1:15.240. I thought there was something wrong seeing an ERT driver so low down, and there he is. We've got first and 16th for ERT right now in the Alpines, but Jordan has only been out on a medium run anyway. So slight shake-up of the order so far for our drivers. Slight surprise to see some people as high as they are and some people as low as they are. It's followed with KPP. We heard from him in the media day, as I mentioned earlier on. So, and of course he's been good enough to tell us all about his about the weather as well. So KPP for the line, good enough for a P7, a 1:15.791, and Redmat says he's got himself rear wing damage for the session. So he's broken his front wing. Well, broke it off. He's changed it, but I think his rear wing is still causing an issue, though I don't see that on my telemetry. So slight issue there. I see that he broke it, but I don't see that that it's still broken. But I guess that's just the way things go.
Okay, I've gotten the go-ahead to be able to speak.
Hey, Cam. Cam came on, joins us. Cam, you're in between laps. How did the first one go?
Sandbaggy.
Great. Okay, nice and safe. We've got a number of drivers having an invalidated at this stage. I think KPP's just on his way in. Konghofner, though, is out there on a good one. No, he's not. He's drifting and taking his time. We're at that stage of the race, of the qualifying, where our drivers are just consolidating their setups, making any final last-minute changes, and we'll go out and all be out there at the same time on this short track. Oh, Speed Red Matt. A little bit of an error going into the pits, and clatters the pit entry, and I think that was he's just hit the speed limit board off in pit entry as well. So
that's my least favorite thing.
The pit entry sign, or people clearing them out for you?
The people clearing out the pit entry sign.
Yeah. No, it's tough. So how are you feeling about your final lap? What kind of a improvement are we expecting from you, Cam?
Well, if everything goes correct, I'm looking at top 5.
Nice. Okay.
And also assuming no one else improves.
Yes, fairly big assumption. But it looked like the track has made quite a leap in terms of grip, just in the first 2/3 of the session. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely. Everyone was doing 16s for the first lap, and then everyone started doing 15s, and I was like, oh, okay, that's fast.
A 1:15.2 is a pretty strong time at the moment from ERT Thomas.
Yeah, I'd say.
So you need to be targeting a 15.6 to get up there in P5.
Yes.
Awesome. Any last minute changes? Any setup changes, or are you pretty nailed on with and happy?
Less fuel.
Okay. Awesome. Well, I guess you'll be heading out shortly so you don't get stuck in traffic.
Yep. I'll go quiet now.
Awesome. Good luck. So Kian just consolidating his tyre warm-up, and he's ready to go. Great to hear from Cam there. I don't know if we'll hear from him between sessions or if something terrible happens and he DNFs early. But Kian is then out there, first of the final runs, I think, at full speed, and he's got, of course, Thomas on his way out the pits, but he successfully navigates that one down to second gear into the first corner. Tricky traction on the way out, but seems to navigate that quite nicely. And then super late trail braking into turn 2. Ignores the apex, big swing, violent swing across the track to get set up for a flat out entry for 3. And up the hill, choose your braking point, choose your point in the distance to aim the car at. And this lap looking pretty good from Kian at the moment. He's currently 16th, but I think this could well be a better lap from him. Let's see as he nears a sector for us. He's got a personal best in the first sector, so that's good for him. How that compares to the rest of the guys, difficult for me to say. And there's a purple middle sector, so I'm sure he'll be happy with that one. Just consolidate it now, Kian. Ignore this car in front and just believe that Cam will get out of your way, and I think he did beautifully. And then into that tricky final corner. This is where everything can go wrong on the exit, but Kian holds the car beautifully. A 1.5 second improvement, and that will do very, very nicely indeed. Let's go straight up to the front of the grid though and see what Dynastics is up to. He's 600ths faster through the short first sector, and that is a personal best. Navigating with extreme caution that middle 6-7 chicane. In the last game you did see drivers attacking that much harder, but definitely better to be a little bit shy on these. Keeps the car on the inside of 11, gets a purple middle sector. This lap looking very hot from Dynastics, but is it hot enough to just depose Thomas? He needs it needs about a quarter of a second improvement to his previous time. Let's see what he's got. Checkered flag is out. These are the laps that count for Dynastics. Will it be enough? It will for pole position, and ERT Thomas can't defend that pole position, so immediately there we have a great position from Dynastics. Salty Bear into third, deposing Dax, who we ride with, and let's see what Dax can do as he gets the car into the tail end of this lap. Dax just trying to hook everything together. I think it's been a good first sector, the best first sector of anybody so far for Dax. Is it enough though? Can he get himself up onto that front of the grid? He goes super wide into the final corner, and that was where it all went wrong. But a P4 potentially for Dax. Cam has done exactly what he said and got a top 5 so far. A P3 for Cam on a 15.3, and he was thinking perhaps a 15.6 was the best he could do. So I'm sure he's delighted with that one, and hopefully we'll hear from him. Apex Rogue is going slowly. Kong Hofner, is he finishing out this lap? I think he is. 300ths under his time from currently P11. Has he got anything to say about starting near the top 10? Alpha is complaining of dirty air, but Kong Hofner for the line. Brilliant improvement, a 1.5 tenth improvement up to P7 for Kong Hofner. Cav Foodie is not going to be doing any better out of this one, and wipes out, pushing the car hard. Apex Rogue's on his way in, and folks, I think unless Okeki can finish this one out, remember he's our cold driver and he has invalidated, unfortunately. Okeki will start from the back of the grid, having failed to set a time, as has Aero Specialist, who, as he said, got himself some dirty air. We've got no improvement from Okeki, and I think if we ride with him, I think when he crosses the line, we will be out of drivers eligible to race. Apex Rogue's gone in, and there's a short delay now while we just consolidate. So please make sure you follow One Hub Racing on Twitch, and make sure that you upvote the video. As I said before, my name is Webbo, and you can find me on Twitter at WebboRed5 if you wish to follow my other work. Cam, I'm going to read out the timings, and then I'll come to you. So Dynastics with pole with a 1:14.9 at the death of the session, and steals it from Thomas, who wasn't able to defend. Cam came on, gets 3rd place. Petrodax in 4th. Salty Bear 5th. Jordan in 6th. Kong Hofner 7th. Kavudi, Rich and Apex Rogue make out your top 10. And then further down, starting on free choice of tyres, we've got Harley, KPP, Kian, Vitino, Keese is 15th, then Redmat, Tech 31, Delta, Aero Specialist and Okeki. So some strong drivers at the tail of our field. I'll be looking at that bottom 5 and to see what they can do with the rest of the race. Potential driver of the day set up for those guys. But Cam, congratulations on that fantastic time at the end of qualifying.
Thank you. It was faster than anything I'd done in practice.
Sweet. Brilliant. What went right for you, and was it how close to it was? How close to perfection were you?
It almost went wrong. I almost coming out of the penultimate corner to start the lap. I spun the rear tires up and almost put it in the wall.
Wow.
I didn't though, and I had to start the lap. Oh, someone's gonna penalty. I had to start the lap not only with grass on my tires, but like a half a second behind Red Mat. So I was just kind of hoping to do the best I could, and then I almost swore there. Got 3rd in the end. So
no, fantastic. I do remember. I think on a pre-race call previously, I think Evil was a little bit nervous of your language. So well done for holding back. That was good. Well, good luck in the race and the formation lap. Hope you survive it all, and I hope we don't talk to you before the end of the race. But if you do end early for any reason, feel free to jump in.
All right, will do.
Thanks a lot for checking in with us, Cam. So Dynastics in the Red Bull leads from the Alpine of Thomas, and then we have another blue car. Cam came on in 3rd place. We just spoke to him. Then Dax in the Haas, and Salty Bear in the 1st of the Mercedes. Then we've got ERT Jordan in the 2nd of the Alpines, and the 2nd of the Mercedes is Kong Hofner. Then we see Kavudi in the McLaren, with Rich in the 1st of the Aston Martins. Rogue will take the start of the race from 10th position in the Ferrari, and then the 2nd Red Bull is Harley. KPP in the 2nd of the Haas cars in 12th. We've got Kekian, Vitino on a mix. Of course, we've got a mix of tyre strategies. Most of the drivers in the bottom 10 starting from mediums, but KPP, Kian and Keese are electing to start on the soft tyres and try and get a little bit of track position and stay on the lead strategy. That AlphaTauri looking a little bit grubby on the track so far of Vitino. Keese is in 15th, and then we've got Speed Red Mat. So pairs of AlphaTauris and Alfa Romeos. That's not going to be confusing for me in commentary at all, is it? I guess if I just hedge my bets and say Alpha audibly, it will sound about right. LR Delta is 18th. Then Aero Specialist is 19th in the 2nd Williams, and then of course we saw Okeki failed to set a time in qualifying, so he'll be starting with a little bit of nervousness, a little bit of energy, and a lot of determination to make a good one out of this, I'm sure. Thank you again to our sponsors, Next Level Racing, 3M Sim Racing, and our partners ERT and Vespertine for their support, and of course all of our race premium drivers. So we're about to get underway. I'm just waiting for a good camera angle for everybody, and I'll do my best to monitor all the live situation as much as I can. Starting lights are ready. And it's lights out and go, go, go in Hungary for the podium tier of One Hub Racing. Fairly even start for the front runners, but it looks like that Haas is going to try and go 3 wide into the first corner. The Red Bull coming around the outside of Thomas's Alpine, who has the favourable line through there. Petrodax challenging now for the lead. Trying the outside move around turn 2 from ERT Thomas, who had a blistering start and a beautifully held line. But here comes Dax down the inside of 3, gets the preferable line, and now he can choose his own entry into 4. Looks like the rest of the drivers safely through, at least staying on track, and no major incidents. Everybody living with the start fairly comfortably, but beautiful stuff from Dax. Dax, what a great start indeed. Then Dax from Dynastics and ERT Thomas. Cam has dropped down 1 place, and Kong Hoffner's made several places up already, and I'm sure he'll be pretty pleased with that first half a lap. You can see the quality of Dax's initial move. Kian's gained 5 places. KPP has dropped 8 and is out of the session with a yellow flag. Unfortunately, we've lost KPP at this super early stage. I'm hoping we can cope without the dreaded safety car early doors. KPP hit the wall at 20 mile an hour. He said then that retired him, so he's not happy with that situation. I can well anticipate that causing a little bit of frustration for him, especially after you've been through the rigours of qualifying. But KPP out at this very early stage, unfortunately, and some pit stops for potentially runners who might have suffered some collision damage at this early stage. Dynastics driving very well. Best wishes for the next race to KPP, and I hope he can make up for it next time. Good to get your bad luck out of the way early on in the championship. Stay with us if you can. Oh, a massive moment for Dynastics, and unfortunately he hadn't ghosted in time, and he loses loads of track positions. We saw ERT Thomas spin out and he's lost his front wing, but looks like he has managed to live to carry on and avoid a retirement. But that was a big one, and it was big enough to bring out the virtual safety car on lap 2. Sorry to say that we've lost 2 of our big early starters, Dynastics and ERT Thomas, but look out for these guys to come through the lap. And of course that's only fueled KPP's rage that an accident like that has not caused their retirement. I'm sure that he's wishing that on anybody, but the difference in impact speed will definitely make him a little bit annoyed, I'm sure. So I'm sorry to say that KPP's was an aberration, but we're glad that we haven't lost any more drivers from the race. Dax with a nice big healthy lead as Kong Hoffner pits early on. I wonder if Kong Hoffner suffered from that incident with Dynastics spinning out as well. Cam came on then back up to 2nd place, and yeah, we've seen just how surprising it was for him that he found himself up high. But remember, he is our previous winner in Hungary, and ERT Jordan having an issue, and the second of the Mercedes having problems. Salty Bear spinning out in the background that we just saw on stream. Sad to see that he's gone out now. So at least he's drifting down the order and recovering, and he's with his teammate in 13th and 14th positions. ERT Thomas 5 seconds away from the nearest rival at this stage. Harley's had a fantastic start though, being on those medium tyres. He's now in 6th place. Who can fault that one? He's stayed out of trouble, and Apex Road is making up for that poor qualifying, and he's out there on the attack on the back of Kian. So Harley behind these two. Kavudi is close behind Harley as well, and we'll try and focus. We'll try and watch the remaining 19 cars with eyes all over the track, as if at all possible. And they breeze down into the start-finish straight. Gaps pretty close in this middle of the pack, 4th down to 8th, 9th. Some close racing. Let's see if everybody makes it into turn 1 without particular issue, and they seem to do. Aero Specialist also close, and he came up right from the back from the penultimate starting position, and he's already up to P12 on medium tyres. It's looking good for him. Let's go up and have a look at Kian though, who's hounding the back of ERT Jordan. Jordan, it wouldn't surprise me, wasn't expecting to be where he is, but doing making the most of this situation. I'm sure he wasn't expecting to be this far ahead of his teammate at this point. But Kian then closing, trying to break down underneath at 310, that magic 310th window to dislodge the error, to make up for the error wake. And he's got Apex Rogue watching very closely behind as well. Rogue now just a quarter of a second behind Kian. That's how close it looks around this short, narrow, classic track. And he's at a pit stop from the Alpine. It is an early pit stop from the Alpine of Jordan, who looks like he's gone through his tyres pretty quickly. I was not expecting pit stops quite so early. And I'll just see if I can have a look at tyre usage on the Delta. It's a little bit tricky for me just to watch. That's usually the damage model, so we'll have a look at damages. Yeah, Dax is on about 40% on his worst tyre, so he's pushing hard. Cam is closing on Dax now and is into a good rhythm, a kind of winner's pace that you would expect. I think Cav's doing really well. Cavudi's doing really well on his tyre usage, although I think I've got a slight dropout on his telemetry, so it might be a couple of laps old. But these 4-lap-old runners hovering around the 40% wear mark. So how brave can they be? Because these exit curbs, especially on the exit of turn 11, as we saw in qualifying, absolutely treacherous for our drivers. But we'll have a look now up at the challenge for the lead that's going on between Cam Camon and the leader Dax. Two very attractive liveries in the game, in my humble opinion. I think these both look really much better in the game than in real life. And here comes Cam with a DRS assistance. Dax doesn't fight it particularly hard. I'm sure he'll be hoping to get a switchback and a better exit. He now gets... No, he doesn't get, of course, the DRS because the detection is shared. And Cam can use that to just try and gap Dax at this stage. Cam having a beautiful first sector of this race. And we're only 6 laps in so far. He's setting good sector times, so he's potentially got a little bit more speed than Dax at this point on these soft tyres, and hasn't used the tyres to quite the same extent. And there is ERT Thomas on a 1:19.1, immediately setting fast laps. He's into a rhythm. He's up to P15 after that problem. And Aero Specialist, I don't know if he's on a bit of a bonsai run, but he's got a penalty, and he's out there collecting penalties and fastest lap occasions. He's trying his best to move his way up the field, but for every fastest lap, if he gets a penalty, it's not going to help anything, as Cavudi gets a penalty as well. Track extending, very likely round here, and Cam stays out. Dax is going to come in though. Dax on his way into the pits. Can he get the car stopped in time? Yes, indeed he does. So from around 50% used soft tyres, he comes in. It's right now that AWS tells us that the one-stop medium strategy is open to the drivers, and potentially we see Rogue coming in as well. So Apex, Rogue and Dax on lap 7, and we'll wait for the first of the soft runners pit stops to filter through before we take you through the full running order. Okay, he's surprising me by not making up too many places right from 20th only up to 19th. I wonder if he's had a few issues already. No car damage that I can see, and actually I can't see any damage on anybody's car at the moment that's permanent. So car's looking pretty good right now, as Speed Red Mat is looking very likely to attack Cavudi any moment. It's probably your closest driver to another car in the race so far. I wonder, will Cam now take this opportunity to pit, and how aggressive does Speed Red Mat want to be? I imagine he just wants to make sure that he's piling on the pressure and let them out. Tech 31 has retired from the session. Tech 31, one of our rivals, pointed main, one of our I think was it excuse me, I think it was Kian who said that Tech 31 was his strongest opposition tonight, and we go for a safety car. And these cars pitting right now, this is perfect for them, as Cam pits just about managed to get in there just as the safety car was announced, and that's absolutely golden. Everybody piling into the pits, even the medium runners. And that's going to completely neutralise the race, of course. First safety car on lap 8, and I'll wait for these pit stops to come out, and I'll take you through the order of the race so far. Well, this one's been a thriller right up to lap 8, hasn't it? I've been breathless, and I'll try and wind down slightly as the race cools off. Hey Cam, you joining us?
Yeah, I may as well for a bit.
Oh, sweet. Well, near perfect first section of the race for you.
Yeah, I don't know how much you caught of it, but I was right behind that lap 2 incident. I might need a little change of pants after that.
Do you always wear dark-coloured trousers for racing? I mean, that would seem sensible.
I'm actually wearing some silver shorts at the moment, so.
Okay. Good stuff. You're not on brand. You're not in Williams gear tonight.
It's kind of white.
Awesome. But yeah, it looked like you managed to survive that, and a great move getting by Dax.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think he had damage. I think his tires just were going off faster than mine were. So.
Yeah, I can confirm that based on the telemetry. It looked like you're only a few % lower on your worst tire, but yeah, he was using them a little bit harder, and you seem to cruise up to the back of him quite well. This track really seems to suit your driving style.
I don't exactly know why. It's a wheel track, and I'm on a controller. Maybe I'm just that good. Who knows? Yeah,
I think that's probably it. I mean, I think you need to talk up your own chances. I think it's looking good, and you are a previous winner of this race, of course.
Well, I kind of got gifted that win, so kind of hoping to not have it gifted me this time.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, keep focused, and great to hear from you again. Looks like you need to do some tyre warming and get yourself ready for the restart, which hopefully will be at the end of this lap. So guys, I'll take you through the order then on lap 9. Now that those pit stops have worked their way out, we've got Cam, of course, in the lead from Kian. Then Speed Red Matt in the first of the AlphaTauris, and Harley in 4th with a great early start. Everybody on medium and hard tyres, but Speed Red Matt and Harley at the front there have chosen those hard tyres. An amazing start for Kian and Red Matt, up 11 and 13 places respectively. Then we've got Apex Rogue in the Ferrari, and ERT Jordan in the Alpine in 6th place. Then Kavudi in 7th. Dynastics with that little spinella that led to ERT Thomas's damage as well on lap 2 that Cam was talking about, in 8th place, with Aero Specialist between them in 9th. Then in 11th we've got Delta Kong Hoffner in 12th, Rich in 13th. Vittino and Keys have stayed exactly where they started, and Dax and Salty Bear have lost out massively from that safety car period, having just pitted the lap before. So unfortunately those guys have dropped down 12 places, but we'll expect fireworks to come from them. Cam's just giving a little bit of distance, and just in time you see the safety car in this lap. Unfortunately we lost Tech 31 that triggered, I think, this safety car, and we lost KPP from a reported 20-mile-an-hour crash, unfortunately, early doors. But yeah, drama for Dynastics and the RT Thomas, and they're on a recovery drive, and so far so good for them. How much can Cam get away from the guys at the front here? He's just slow, he's taking his time. Speed Red Matt has double stacked. Cam goes, leaving the absolute minimum amount of time for attack. We saw last week some drivers overtaking before the safety car control line. Apex Rogue down the inside of ERT Jordan, and it looks like Dynastics and Harley going into turn 1 side by side. How will they come through? They're still side by side on the way out. The Alpine defending successfully, and it looks like the inside line is the way to go here. Dynastics will need to stay a little bit distant from his slightly glitching teammate, and safely navigates that one, as Apex Rogue, I think, made contact into turn 4 on the back of the Alpine, so he's pretty impatient at this point and hoping to pressure, but making contact is a little bit too much of pressure. I think that looked like that was Delta just spinning in the tight chicane, and Delta heading down the order. Hopefully he won't trigger anything other than a yellow flag in that sector, but the front group away relatively safely, living through that one. Delta has got fairly significant damage and has damaged his front wing, unfortunately. So has Dax. Dax with a big issue with his, and he's out. Delta and Dax both out on lap 10, and we go for our second safety car period. Astonishing. A reminder that some of the unique rules, one of the unique rules of One Hub Racing, I should say, is a two-stop mandatory minimum for our drivers, and that's probably a fairly triggering phrase to use if there's any Americans watching or driving, talking about mandatory minimums. Yeah, we've got pit stops triggered there by Specialist and Thomas, Rich and Salty Bear. But Cam joins us again from behind the safety car conditions. Cam, you'd have to expect safety cars to breed safety cars, I guess.
Yeah, I kind of wish these guys would drive a little cleaner, but...
Right. It looked like everything just condensed into the turn 6-7 tight chicane. That's where it really went wrong for. But we've lost Dax, one of your main rivals, earlier in the race. Is that a relief?
I mean, it's not great for him, but...
No. So what do you do strategically now? I don't think any of the other drivers are listening, of course, but you could get your second pit stop out of the way at this point.
I could, but I'd lose all this track position if anyone else stayed out.
Yeah.
So if I was going to pit under the safety car, I would have done it as soon as it came out, as I was passing the pit lane.
So you had the opportunity. I wasn't sure if it had happened after you'd passed the pit lane entry, but you did have that option.
No, it started as a VSC and then it became a safety car around then. But no, I feel in practice I felt good on the medium, so I want to take him to the end.
Excellent. Okay, so you will have to pit again, of course, with the two-stop requirement. Just for your information, I guess, Konghofner, Vittino, Keys, Thomas, and Specialist, Rich, and Salty Bear have all made their minimum 2 or 3 stops already. So those will be the guys that you'll need to get a pit stop distance to.
All right, I'll try my best.
Good luck. Well, we didn't obviously want to see another safety car so soon, but unfortunately this is one of those where it's the red Mercedes safety car. We don't get to see the new Alfa Romeo one, but not going to wish safety cars on anybody. It's all about which safety car, of course, was delivered to which race in the 2021 season, of course. So, where do we find ourselves in this race? Who's looking strong? Obviously Cam and the front 3 looking pretty good at this stage. We've got tyre usage. Speed Red Map was on those hard tyres. I was fairly surprised to see the hard tyre runners not decide to come in, but they're relatively committed to their hard tyre strategy, though they'll have to stop again towards the end of the race, presumably on soft tyres or on another further safety car. Let's hope we don't have any more. But as I said to Cam there, Konghofner, Vittino, Keys, those guys are going to have some pace towards the end of the race and don't have to pit again if they can get those medium tyres through to the end. Cam is preparing those mediums again, and Speed Red Mat will probably do something similar. Now, what does Cam do here? Does he optimize his restart as before, which is to start at the last possible minute? And of course, the closer you get to the start-finish straight, the more predictable your jump becomes. Or do you jump really early on the entry or apex of the final corner? Now, he's sped up there, but he's got a constant speed, so that's perfectly within the rules and within the gentlemanly driving, as Kiana's got a good run. Of course, moves across to try and prevent an attack. And a bit further down, we've got Apex Rogue making another attack. And what will the Red Bulls do this time? They'll go line astern rather than side by side. Apex Rogue attacking Jordan, as we saw before. Late lunge into the apex. ERT Thomas gave him brilliant racing room there. He had to steer into the corner, and then he decided to just back off it, just to stay and live to fight another day through here. But Apex Rogue on medium tyres, getting by Jordan's hard tyre shod Alpine up to P4 on this restart, lap 13. And let's hope that the cars make it through the 6-7 chicane safely this time, because that's where it all went wrong on the last lap round. Obviously we've lost some drivers. They're just exiting from the session, drivers we already knew about, but then again quite a bit of dirt picked up on the side pod on the McLaren there as we got a close-up. And so we had that 16% chance of rain, and it's not a clear sky, it's a little bit cloudy, so who knows, we could have a wet sting in the tail. It looks like Harley's got to turn round into the penultimate corner, and that might just be a little mistake on his own. Turn round and drop down several places for Harley, but he's on fairly young hard tyres that have got a lot of life left in them, and he can afford to pick up his race further up the grid. Looks like Thomas trying to go around Okeki, who takes the inside line, almost, I guess, the Lance Stroll line into turn 1. Too much entry curb, turn the car around. Okeki drop down to the back of the order again. And Speed Red Mat picks up a 3-second penalty, so no good for him and his battle to stay on the podium. But it's all kicking off, it's all happening up and down the grid, and you'll forgive me if I miss the odd situation, because man alive, it's all going on all at once. There goes Kong Hofner, spears off into the gets that 6-7 chicane wrong again, and this is one of the big action areas of the lap we've seen tonight. But yeah, Kong Hofner spinning round on into the chicane. Lots of pressure on the drivers now. It's round 3 of the season. They're the early nerves are out, and it's maximum attack for the drivers now in round 3. Dynastics is hot on the back of Jordan. He should get a good run, and we've got DRS enabled for him. Let's see if he can open it now. I don't think it'll be enabled for him at this stage. He'll have to wait for the next detection zone before he can attack again. But yeah, with a quarter of a second gap between him and the car in front, it wasn't enough to catch a tow up the race, up one position down that start-finish straight. It's just not long enough. Dynastics then attacking, getting closer. Now 1/10. He's going to take the outside line into turn 4. He left a little bit of room. He wasn't quite sure where Jordan was, and a great move for Dynastics on medium tyres, as Jordan is running around on hard tyres, remember, let's not forget about that. But Dynastics up to P5 on lap 15. Cam is your leader, Kian is your second place. Then with a 3-second penalty is Speed Red Mat. He's got Apex Rogue catching behind him, well within that margin, but Speed Red Mat is on those hard tyres again, so Apex Rogue catching, but catching is one thing and passing is well, another thing, I guess. Quite another, I guess, is the correct quote. But it's become a bit of a racing cliche now, hasn't it? Dynastics tyres looking well used on my telemetry compared to the other medium runners. He's thrashing this car around, so not really caring about the long-term life of these tyres. I think he's sprinting on this particular set. Kavudi gets by ERT Jordan, and Jordan is going backwards lap by lap, struggling on these hard tyres after the restart. Will he batter back into the turn 2? No, not quite. No, it's not going to happen this time for Jordan, and he's just going to try and stay with Kavudi and stay away from his challenger behind, but that's easier said than done at this stage. Speed Red Mat up at the front is repelling the attack of Rogue by virtue of just catching the car in front of him. So he will have a DRS to defend from Rogue, and is really living on these hard tyres beautifully right now, making these work really well. And if he can continue this kind of pace, he might be able to just put softs on at the end and really be challenging for backup for the podium towards the end. Only 3 penalties on our grid so far, that of Speed Red Mat, Kavudi and Kong Hofner. And we're up to lap 16 already. Thankfully, that second safety car has not bred another one, and let's hope for no more from the drivers tonight. So, Lap 17, we have a yellow flag in sector 3. I hope that's not more drama for the drivers or just someone running wide. It's gone away already, so that's good news. I'm getting a nervous tick when I see yellow on the screen, just because of these safety cars and the prevalence that we see them. A little bit of battling going on down here, look, between Salty Bear, Konghofner. Salty Bear getting past his teammate in the Mercedes and getting quite close behind Harley. Let's go back to tyres and have a look. Those hard tyres should be starting, for the most part, to be in better condition than the medium tyre runners. You've got Dynastics on 28% usage already, and he's the highest user of tyres so far on this track at this particular moment in history. Here comes Salty Bear, 2/10 behind Harley, and I'll keep an eye there upon P3 and 4 because Rogue is quite close behind. And around goes Harley. Salty Bear, that job was made very easy for him, and Konghofner and Thomas and Rich, who've all got by Harley down in the back of the grid now. He's in P14, having wiped off his front wing. I don't think he was helped into that accident, but of course I could be mistaken. I just saw it out the corner of my eye. We have a VSC, folks, unfortunately, so there won't be any attacks down into the start-finish straight. Will there be any pit stops at this stage? It's probably not a particularly helpful time for pit stops for any of our drivers. We've got up to half distance now. Cam Kamon has your lead from Kekian, Speed Redmat, Apex Rogue, Dynastics, Kavudi, Jordan we're watching, then Vittino, Keese, and Salty Bear rounds out the top 10 with his teammate right behind him, Konghofner, who's also one of the race premium drivers. Thomas is in 12th, having been as high as 3rd at one point in our race so far this evening. Then Harley, after that moment, is in the pits. He's actually retired, I believe. Harley's left the session from P14 and unfortunately did that too late for his Ghost to ghost out. So Harley's retired from the session. Sorry to see Harley go, because I know that he's a hard racer usually, but obviously not feeling it right now and touring around at the back at the moment. Potentially, I'll check whether he's carrying any form of damage. No known damage on the back of Okeki. Okeki in 15th place. We still have a yellow flag in Sector 1, or do we have a renewed flag in Sector 1? I'm not sure quite what's going on there. Let's take a look. Nobody stationary in Sector 1, so possibly Okeki got it wrong into that first corner. But we're back to green flag, are we? No, we're not. Another yellow Sector 3. But I think that our front runners will be on green flag racing as Cam Kamon leads the field, and he will be coming up. He will probably just see flashes of a red Ferrari ahead of him, ready to get ready to lap him. And we've got some close battling going on between the 3rd, 4th and 5th positions, riding here with Dynastics in the Red Bull as these drivers get nice and close. I'm getting nervous about cars getting too close into that terrible chicane tonight, but they're well within their rhythms now. They're not too close to tyre death. They're not too close to that famous cliff that the tyres drop off for grip. And this is a close battle, but we've also got a close battle a little bit further down the grid in 8th, 9th and 10th between Vittino, Keese and Konghofner. And those guys very close together. But I'll stay with this battle because it's just slightly higher up in the grid order. Cam K, though, stretching his lead from Kian, who's on the same life tyres. And actually, Speed Redmat living really nicely with these medium runners. So Speed Redmat, but we want to watch later on in the grid as Kavudi gets the fastest lap as he tries to catch the back of this battle we're watching. Dynastics just nerfs the back of the Ferrari slightly. A little touch between friends, no harm, no foul. And he's got, they've both got DRS. Dynastics looking pretty racy, but it was, oh dear, it was Rogue that left it slightly late to defend, to brake in defence, turned it round. They just rubbed a little bit of contact. Dynastics managing not to plough into the side of him, but of course that gives the advantage to Kavudi, who has all the momentum in the world compared to Dynastics. So Rogue just getting it wrong. He's only lost 2 places, but he'll be back on the attack now. Rogue, Dynastics now though with yellow damage, 21% damage on his front wing. So that's not going to help him at all. He may be able to live with it, but it's going to make life very difficult as Kavudi goes by. No, I think this is too hard for him to run. So we'll probably see Dynastics limp round to the pits now, and Rogue will get by him shortly, I think. Although Dynastics has no need to make it super easy for Rogue. And in comes Dynastics, yeah, for that predictable pit stop. He's actually struggling to get the car turned in. It's that significant, this damage. 21% on the front wing is all it takes. And that's only on one side of the front wing. That's all it takes to have everything be almost unmanageable. So he'll wait for that front wing change. And this race just gets easier for Cam at the moment. Cam up there in the lead, 3.7 seconds his gap from Kian. And then, of course, as we mentioned before, Okeki is stationary. He's now reversing. Oh, he's turned it round in turn 1, ended up facing the wrong way, so he's reversing to try and get a turn done. He's trying to do it out of the way of everybody. Dynastics is coming out of the pits, but he's a little bit slower. And Okeki, he was a cold driver going into this race, and I think he's gone ice cold now. That's unfortunate for Okeki. It's all going wrong tonight, and I'd love to hear from him in the chat. We didn't hear from any of our podium rivalry drivers this week, so I can't give you an update on how the media tried to press home some of those stick the needle in and try and generate some sort of reaction. Both of our rivals this week opting for no comment, I think, unfortunately. Unfortunately, we didn't hear from those guys, but next time we have anything from our noted rivals, I will, of course, let you know in the races to come. So lap 22 of 35, and it's been an absolute cracker so far. We've seen plenty of action, some good overtakes, some mistakes, shall I say, to be kind, but some awesome driving from people like Cam K, Kian. Red Matt, I've got all the respect in the world at the moment because he's really holding his own with the medium runners. The tyres should be in his favour now, really. And yeah, if I glance down at the telemetry, and the tyres actually are looking healthier for him than the medium tyres. So that threshold moment now has come for Speed Red Matt. So the question is, when does everyone make their second and mandatory pit stop? 13 laps on the mediums with about 13 to go. So if they were going on mediums, they're going to split the difference, and in on that exact moment comes Cam. So absolutely splitting the wear rate for the mediums right down the middle. He will drop behind Speed Red Matt, who is his main rival in this one. Just a reminder on stops. So Cam will want to try and stay ahead of Keys, and he hasn't managed to do that. So he's dropped behind so far Keys, Vittino, Kong Hofner, and Thomas, all of whom have made all their required pit stops. That's not to say they won't elect to stop again, but they've made their required ones. So that's the task in front of Cam K if he's to try and make the best of this one, as a fastest lap is registered by Dynastics, who's on there to get into the top 10 and to get fastest lap. That's all he can do tonight, really. Another one of the special rules for One Hub, which is really awesome, is that there is a fastest lap point for both drivers, one in the top 10 and one in the bottom 10. So always a reason to push for our drivers, of course. So Cam, on the freshest tyres in the field, pitted to the end, but the task in front of him is, as I say, I think Keys and probably Thomas will need to pit again, despite having made 2 stops. But it's Speed Red Matt and Vittino and Kong Hofner that he needs to really focus on at this point. And his underlap laps right now, we'll see how strong his underlap is and his first lap pace, because Kian is now in the pits. So let's ride with Cam, because this is really for the lead of the race, to see where Kian comes out in comparison. I think Cam's already blasted past him on the pits and could actually have extended his lead to Kian. We'll wait to see where Kian comes out. Yeah, I think that's actually extended his lead by a good 2 seconds, in fact, for Cam. So that underlap working beautifully, and he knows, of course, he can get these tyres to the end now. So he just wants to optimise his race pace, optimise his tyre wear, not lose too much ground to the cars in front. That looked pretty aggressive on the way into 2, didn't it? He's not taking it too conservatively. He's out there pushing hard, which is what you want your winner to be doing, really. You don't want him to cruise around at the slowest possible speed. But another penalty for Kavudi, and we've got penalties for Keys as well, and Kong Hofner. So the task for Cam being made easier and easier as everybody else picks up these penalties. Vittino, though, on hard tyres, Vittino could be a potential blocking point and an obstacle for Cam. The yellow flag in Sector 2, that's a Ferrari. Is it Apex Rogue? It's not. It's Okeki again has turned the car around. Unfortunately, Okeki has had another accident and really needs to go back to the drawing board around Hungary and gets a little bit more practice in, or possibly some setup issues. So we look forward to seeing an uptick in performance from Okeki through the race. He promised me a good show tonight because he's helping with the setup of the race, and I hope that didn't interrupt his preparations too much. We appreciate all the efforts that everyone who supports the One Hub Racing Discord leagues, server hosting, invites, stewarding, everything. We appreciate all the work that they all do, because that's how we can build such a strong racing league with such great loyalty. And of course, thank you to everybody who engages in our chat and who likes and subscribes to the channel or follows us in of course the Twitch parlance, but the equivalent for everything else. Vittino closing in. He's got a 3/4 of a second gap to the lead at the moment. Vittino looking good on no penalties. Speed Red Mat has pitted and come out behind Cam. So that's going to be a relief for Cam. Speed has gone on to soft tyres and can try and get 11 racing laps out of soft tyres. So that's going to be marginal for Speed Red Mat, but he'll be quick now. Let's go down and have a look at how quick he is. How easily can he go and get behind the likes of Salty Bear, who's ahead of him? Here he comes. And the answer, very easily indeed. He's out there on fresh soft tyres against used mediums, so of course a little bit of an advantage for Speed Red Mat. Like I say, he's quick, but he's got quite the delta to catch back onto the podium later on in the race. But I expect to see fireworks and purple sector times from here we go, purple sector immediately from Speed Red Mat, and we'll expect to see some good fastest laps as well. I don't think Cam's going to be pushing for maximum points tonight. But Speed Red Mat has now got a 1.5 second gap to catch the next driver, and we'll follow along with Cam, who's out there trying to catch Kong Hofner. He needs to get by, but doesn't want to take too many risks or slow himself down too much. So big challenge for Cam to make the most of this particular phase of the race with 9 laps to run in your Hungarian Grand Prix. Remember, this is round 3 of the podium tier. DRS open for Cam, but unfortunately he'll be dismayed to see the DRS open for Kong Hofner in front of him. Kong Hofner's making him go the long way round, which is it's his prerogative to do. Cam says, I'll happily go on the outside because I know it gives me the inside for the next corner, but doesn't quite make it stick. And of course Cam, defending really the lead of the race here, needs to be careful. Takes a big chunk of apex out of turn 3 and just needs to settle back down again, because he's got right out of racing rhythm and lost a little bit of momentum there, which isn't going to help his overall race. I can imagine that Keys is on his way in, as we've got yellow sector 2 again. So we've got a little bit of wing damage for Rogue, who's got a 15% reduction on his right front wing element. Okay, he picks up a penalty, but it's not going to affect his finish position because he's a lap down right now. But yeah, that and actually Rogue has increased that wing damage, so he's actually touched something else again. So Ferrari having a nightmare of a race tonight. In comes Cam then, battling for the lead. Round the outside again, this time trying a slightly smoother switchback, but washes out his aero on the exit and cannot stay with Kong Hofner, who's making that Mercedes very wide. He's taking the middle of the track each time he can, and like I say, completely his prerogative and his job to make sure that his sponsors get plenty of airtime on track. So the Williams of Cam hounding this Mercedes. We've seen Rogue decide that enough is enough, and he's not going to finish the race. He's retired in the pits. Sorry to see Rogue go, but it was quite the race for him, wasn't it? So we've got his teammate Okeki running around, hoping at least to finish the race. I think that's his goal. But Keys will be feeling it on the tyres now. He's got the worst tyre wear on the track. He's got 46% on the front left, which is the majority loaded tyre here. But we'll focus on this battle between Cam and Kong Hofner. He just wants Kong Hofner to lose that DRS to Vittino ahead, but of course it probably suits Vittino to keep that gap. And round the outside this time comes Cam, but Kong takes the middle line as usual, sweeping across the track. Cam's got to be really nervous of Kong's defensive tactics. Kong has no care about Cam's rightful place at the front of this race, and Kong absolutely holding him off at this stage and doing a pretty good job defending. Nothing too sketchy at this point, but yeah, maybe Cam will have a different view on that. Maybe we'll hear from him a bit later after the race. So this is the situation then on lap 29 of 35. Keys and Vittino. Keys will have to stop again. We know that. I think Vittino may have to stop again. No, he's okay. He can limp to the finish, but unlikely to be challenging for the eventual win. Same situation with Kong Hofner, who's got a penalty and is holding off Cam. Of course, the longer he can hold off Cam, the better for himself, the better for his points. But really, Cam is going to get very impatient indeed. We'll have a look into telemetry for you as well shortly. Sorry, for ERS, I should say. I've been looking at telemetry all that long, haven't I? So ERS 78% for Keys. Vittino has 35. Cam on 9%, and Kong has. I can't see Kong's, unfortunately. I'm sorry to say. I'm going to have to cheat and use the on-screen. So he's on 14%. There you go. So nobody with a load of ERS to spend, but potentially Cam could try and consolidate and save and harvest as much as he can now, and see if he can get himself a really strong position. But Cam, really, your rightful leader of the race with 5 laps to go, but it's anyone's at this point if he can't get by Vittino and Keys. Keys will, I'm sure, pit again, but Vittino doesn't have to, and neither does Kong Hofner, so Cam could get by them, but Vittino at the moment has got the net lead with these penalties. So let's see how this one all works its way out. Speed Red Mat has made it up to the back of this battle. Cam has to get a move on, because here comes Speed Red Mat on soft tyres. The pressure is really on, and he has to get by. A late lunge, a wheel-to-wheel contact, but no harm really, no real foul from Cam as Kong fights back and tries to get back past, and he successfully gets back past. Cam did all the work, and Kong Hofner just manages to undertake himself yet again and get by and keep that lead, but keep that lead over Cam, I should say. Speed Red Mat now right up behind the Alpine, and he's just got the Alpine between him and Cam. This is an absolute thriller to the end, guys. I'm not sure who to put my money on. I kind of hope Cam is going to do it, because I've been talking to him all night. But But man, this is really tense to the finish. Cam has to make it count now, because as I say, the Speed Red Mat is going to be closing, and Speed Red Mat has got 40% used soft tyres versus Cam's 23%. So Cam should have plenty to battle with. But here comes Speed Red Mat on Thomas. Comes to the inside. Thomas not making it super difficult, trying to take his natural line through turn 1. Gets it done. And what about Cam? Can he try another late move to the inside? He can't. So the driver behind him is his main challenger here. His main challenger has a penalty, and Cam needs to avoid catching a penalty. This is really, really difficult for him. ERT Thomas has picked up 1% front wing damage. So I'm not quite sure how you do that. Is that just a curb? Knocks a tiny piece of wing off on a curb, or if we got a slight aberration on our telemetry. But all the same, Cam then, lap 32, in 4th place currently. I feel confident that he can win this on the road if he can just get by Kong, because then he'll be the first car with DRS on Vittino. Let's take a look again at the ERS situation for the drivers. I'm afraid I can't see it initially, but here comes Cam, gets the inside line. He's going to have to do some of this on the brakes. Nice move on the inside. Kong Hofner makes contact. That seemed a bit unfair. Oh, he's turned Cam round. Unbelievable that it would end like this. This battle for the lead, and Cam had it. That feels pretty unjust to me after Cam got the job done and he's struggling to get the car back under racing conditions. But that's just handed the initiative to our leading trio of Keese, Vittino and Speed Red Mat. Keese is trying to limp home with these medium tyres. Everyone's made 2 stops, so Keese might do it, but Vittino, with 8 tenths behind him, has no penalties, so will take the win as things stand. I'm really disappointed for Cam. That one was it was his race all along, but Kong just made it so hard to get by, and then after Cam had got by, gave him a little tap, and that was enough. That was enough to turn him round. I think we know where our rivalries are becoming next week. But Keese up there, 14 places gained from the start of this race, and it really has been a race where you just can't guess. A poor starting position for the top 3, but they're all in the podium now. Keese, as I say, will potentially be on for a 2nd place run here. Vittino 7 tenths behind. Speed Red Mat's brought himself back to 5 tenths behind, but with a 6-second penalty that will see him drop down significantly, and will potentially see Kian, your leader. So let's have a look then as we close out this race on the penultimate lap now. The gap to the leader, so I can see potentially Speed Red Mat heading down towards P6, P5, maybe P4 if he just about holds on at the end. But fastest lap lies with Speed Red Mat as well, so we'll get that extra point. And I think potentially an extra point coming for Jordan, who's got a nice competitive time outside of the top 10. Just what a shocker for Cam and Kong Hofner. Their Dynastics has picked up front wing damage. I think for the 3rd time this race, he's on 11% damage. And we saw what a struggle that was around this difficult twisty track earlier on. So penalties will be what decides this one for us with regard to the podium finishes. I'm pleased to say Cam has managed to get back racing up to P11, but to not even get a point out of this one is going to taste very, very sour indeed. He's driven an amazing race, honestly. So, position change overall. The top 4 are just remarkable. I think Okeki has gained from a lot of DNFs from everybody else, rather than necessarily overtaking himself. But yeah, we're on the final lap now, and Kees is travelling around in the latter portion of this race, of this track, I should say. Let's try and have a look at penalties as we close out the race. Kees will take, I think, the checkered flag first, but it might well. I think it's going to be with Vittino at the end if he can just avoid a penalty at the death. So Vittino crosses the line to win round 3 as Kees decides to destroy the car on the line, but Kees will get third place potentially after that moment. Kian gets second on the line from Thomas in 4th. Then Speed Redmat gets 5th place with that 6-second penalty. Cav gets 6th. Kong Hofner, fairly big asterisk next to Kong Hofner's name in P8 potentially. Rich gets 9th. Cam manages to bring the car home and get a single solitary point after all that, and ERT Jordan crosses the line in P11, the most disheartening place to cross the line, but potentially he might get an extra point there for his strong pace at certain stages. And then we'll see Okeki, car number 97, the Ferrari, finish up our race. But that was certainly plenty eventful. Yeah, some people saying let's not do this track again, please. So I'm just going to tour through while I wait for everything to finish. Just checking out people's comments, seeing if there's anything I can read in terms of a debrief for everybody. But there we have Vittino taking the win for AlphaTauri. Beautiful stuff. And not only that, but he also takes, I believe he's going to take the lead in the championship. If my points are to be believed here. I don't think this is actually live championship. That's just points awarded for tonight. So we'll wait to see the final standings, and I'll give you some stats at the end of this one. But there we have, from representing Brazil at least, Vittino in the AlphaTauri takes the win from Kian in 2nd in the McLaren. Massive gain in positions for these guys, and then Kees in 3rd place. ERT Thomas takes 4th. Speed Redmat is 5th. Kavudi in 6th place. Dynastics takes 7th. Kong Hofner, like I say, an asterisk and a 1-place drop from his starting position in 8th. Then Rich in 9th. Cam in 10th and probably distraught in the Williams. Then Jordan, Salty Bear, Okeki, Rogue. Okeki was the last classified finisher. Then we lost Rogue, Harley, Aerospecialist, Dax, Delta, Tech 31, and KPP on the early stages of the race. But wow, that one that was definitely a handful to commentate on. That was tough conditions for the drivers out there. Didn't they do the most incredible job? I can be very proud of the way they've represented the podium tier tonight. We're thrilled to see Vittino take his first victory in One Hub Racing. His 2nd ever podium, and first podiums for Kian and for Kees. Unsurprisingly, we're going to lose Cam. I don't think he's going to stop by for a debrief. I imagine he's about to go and find the nearest pillow and scream into it. And who could blame him? Yeah, some issues with drivers around complaining about other people's connections, about some difficulties. Vittino is properly happy, and that's awesome. I'm really pleased for that. Kavudi is really happy with his podium as well, so that's great. Sorry, get myself into trouble there. Kavudi didn't get a podium, did he? Kavudi got 6th in the end. But no, it was a fantastic job from our podium sitters. Kees happy with his 3rd place in his podium and first podium here. This really was about keeping your wheels clean and staying out of trouble. I was so surprised to see those hard tyres of Vittino managed to outperform the alternate strategies. Perhaps the optimal looked to be soft, medium, medium. Speed Red Mat made a medium, hard, soft work. Yeah, honestly, kind of a surprise to see the hard tyres tonight, given our mandatory 2-stop minimum. But yeah, lots of people pretty happy. Obviously, lots of people unhappy. Of course, Vittino actually thanking Kong Hofner, and read into that what you will. But yeah, really, really good stuff. Congratulations to our podium. My driver of the day tonight. Call me biased, but I'm going to go with Cam. I think Cam drove a fairly immaculate race. He struggled to get by Kong Hofner, who made it all kinds of difficult, and then gave him a little tap at the end. Maybe a little payback for that wheel-to-wheel contact into turn 2, but Cam, how do you recover from a race like this? That's my question for Cam, yeah, my commiserations to him, because that's absolutely devastating. I'm trying to give you live championship positions. Yes, here we go. I can give you live championship positions. Vittino provisionally taking the top of the championship standings on 32 points here. Cam will retain the top spot by 1 point from Vittino, who jumps all the way up to second from 7th place. ERT Thomas continuing in 3rd place. Then Kian up 11 positions to 4th in the championship. They'll be well happy with that kind of a jump. And his fellow podium mate Kees up to P5 in the championship as well. Those are, of course, provisional championship standings, but we'll let you know if there's any stewards findings, changes to the championship at the start of next week's race. Remember to tune into the other races that's still going tonight. Go over to YouTube and find the One Hub channel and tune into the rest of the races tonight. Watch all the videos back. Give us a like and subscribe, and we hope you'll set your calendar to remind you to tune in to us next time. But until next time, everybody, thank you for everything. And I've been Webbo, and we will catch you on the next race day.